Welcome back to Benchwarmers. All summer we are doing our Mount Rushmore thing. We're having our Midco SN peeps like David pick a top 4 of the best athletes of the last 10 years at the school they cover. Well, David covers 16 schools in the NSIC. There are thousands of choices. How did you get it down to 4?
In a very difficult manner, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of backlash. I'll already invite everyone who wants to respond on social media. I get it, I understand, but come on. As Tom said, I had a lot to pick from.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
You'll get a lot of backlash after these picks. All right, let's go to the board and a football player to start. And I think you kind of took a little different approach of he was really good at Minnesota State, but what he's done beyond that.
Yeah, obviously, part of the criteria for previous ones was what you did at your school during that time. And not to say Adam Thielen wasn't great at Minnesota State. He left the school as their all-time leading receiver, but he only had 17 career touchdowns. So do his stats in the conference hold up historically? Yeah, that's still up for debate, but come on. He's the most popular athlete in NSIC history. Everyone knows his story, the $500 scholarship, working his way up, started with the Minnesota Vikings on special teams, and now he's one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. When you hear Adam Thielen's name, the first thought goes to Minnesota State in the NSIC. You can't not include him on the NSIC's Mount Rushmore.
Absolutely. All right, another football player from Augustana, 𝗡𝗂 𝗵𝗺, another guy that has gone on and made his name in the NFL.
Absolutely, and similar to Adam Thielen, 𝗡𝗂 𝗵𝗺's numbers, while good, aren't necessarily all-time great. He's 25th career in the NSIC in rushing, but obviously since then, he made the Vikings off of an open tryout. I mean, come on, it doesn't get more gritty than that. Now he's one of the best fullbacks in the entire NFL. There are other Augustana running backs who maybe had more yards than him in their respective Augustana Viking careers, but again, like Adam Thielen, 𝗡𝗂 𝗵𝗺 with the Minnesota Vikings, probably the 2 most successful NSIC football to NFL athletes that the conference has ever had.
All right, a basketball player who is at the top of Augustana's all-time scoring list, and Augie had that great run to the national championship a few years ago, Dan Jansen.
Dan Jansen's probably the biggest no-brainer, if you want all things considered, for this Mount Rushmore. He's Augustana's all-time leading scorer, the 2015-16 Division II Player of the Year, and he led the Vikings to the national championship that season. I mean, what else can you say? Casey Schilling could easily be on this list. He's second. He was on that national championship team, but Dan Jansen reminds me of my favorite story. I was at the Elite Eight in Texas. He hadn't missed a game in his career, got hurt during practice. Tom Billiter likes to tell the story that after he got hurt, he tried a free throw drill. They missed like 30 in a row. They didn't play with him in the Elite Eight, somehow beat Tarleton State, a team from 2 hours outside Frisco that had a ton of fans there, beat them in the Elite Eight. Dan Jansen comes back for their Final Four game, hits his first 3 shots, kind of a Willis Reed moment, and they go on to win the national championship. Dan Jansen, undoubtedly a Mount Rushmore NSIC athlete.
All right, and sticking with Augustana.
I know, 3 Augie athletes, I know, but Shaunteva Ashley, I looked at it this way. She's 3rd at Augustana in scoring and 3rd in assists. Just a versatile player. People remember her from Sioux Falls Roosevelt High School, but she led the Vikings to the 2013 Final Four. That's the best an NSIC women's basketball team has done in the postseason in the last 10 years. I could have gone with a couple of Concordia athletes. MSU Moorhead's had some great athletes over the years, Jackie Volkert and Megan Hintz and Drew Sanis. Northern State, Miranda Ristow, Jill Conrad. I wanted to include a women's basketball player. Could have done another Viking, Logan O'Farrell, who's a 3-time NSIC Defensive Player of the Year, but Shaunteva Ashley, for all her scoring prowess and the fact that she could distribute as well, led the Vikings to the 2013 Final Four. She is my women's basketball pick, and that is my NSIC Mount Rushmore. I know, 3 Augie athletes, I know.
All right, we're going to throw it out there on social media, see how bad you get beat up. Hopefully it's brutal. Part of this is it's interesting to see who other people would pick from the other schools.
Absolutely. Could also mention Trey Ide for Augustana football. He had 13,000 career yards. He has more than 1,000 more than second place, but how do you beat out Adam Thielen and 𝗡𝗂 𝗵𝗺? Again, it's tough, but there you go.
Good to see you.
You as well.
All right.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.